Hello everybody, it's Mel. Thank you for joining me today for the end of the year book tag. So I can hear people saying, but Mel, we are not at the end of the year. Why are you doing this tag? I kind of think this tag is a little bit misnamed, but anyway, that's not the point. No shade to the people that created it, but anyway, the point of this tag is not to talk about the end of the year, is to talk about how you are going to set up for your reading for the rest of the year, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to do today. I think the tag was created by Ariel Bissett and potentially someone else, so I will link that down in the description below. Them in the description below, their channels. I wasn't tagged by anyone and I won't be tagging anyone. It's just a matter of if you want to do it, then do it. One of those sorts of tags. But anyway, there are 6 questions. So yeah, let's just get into them. Question number 1. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, I have 2 books that I need to finish this year. When I did the mid-year freakout tag, which I'll link below, also I should say that anyone else I talk about is linked in the description below. When I did the mid-year freakout tag, I think I said 4 books that I had needed to finish by the end of the year that I'd started. I now can happily say I only have 2 books that I need to finish by the end of the year because I've finished the other 2. So I'm very happy about that. So those 2 books are the Wartime Book Club by Kate Thompson and Surrender by Bono. Those 2 are the books. Next question. And again, no shade to the people that created this tag or anyone else for that matter, but the next question kind of bugs me because it is, do you have any autumnal books to transition into the end of the year? And it bugs me because I live in Australia and we are going into summer and I kind of feel like, you know, I get that you were talking about your own experience, but not everyone is in autumn right now. Anyhow, so for that reason, the answer is no. I live in Australia. We are in the opposite to you guys, so in the Northern Hemisphere. So it is spring. So no. However, I don't read seasonally. I think because publishing seems to mostly take place in the Northern Hemisphere, and so therefore it's marketed seasonally, and I don't feel like we market things seasonally in Australia, possibly because we know we're working against that, and so we avoid it rather than, you know what I mean. Although you still get, anyway, I don't read seasonally. And even if I did, it would be the wrong season. So I don't have an answer to this question other than a tirade, again, about all the things I just said. So let's move on. The third question is there a new release that you are still waiting for? I felt like I had 2 books for this, but I can only think of 1 now. Yeah, clearly they're not that anticipated. I also obviously didn't plan this video. Anyway, so the book that I can remember that I'm anticipating is the next book by Travis Baldree, which again, I can't actually remember what it's called, but I will look that up. Brigands and Bread Knives. This is the 3rd book in the, I guess it's Legends and Lattes series, maybe? I don't know if that's the series name. But the first book was Legends and Lattes. They are companion books, so I don't think it matters which order you read them in necessarily. This is the 3rd book. We follow a different character, I think. We follow a character that we met in Bookshops and Bone Dust. So these are cozy fantasies and I just really enjoy them. I think they're really well written and a lot of fun and yeah, really cozy and yeah, just a great time. So that comes out, I believe, in November, potentially. Anyway, I'm excited for that one to come out, so that's my answer. The next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So, the first one is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, which is a book that came out in the last few months and I bought a couple of months ago and I haven't got around to it yet, so I'm very, very interested in reading that. Another book which I actually have technically started, I started it today and read 16 pages, I read the first chapter, is Calabasas by R.F. Kuang, so I definitely will read that by the end of the year, but it's still an answer to this question. And the 3rd book is Silverborn by Jessica Townsend, which is the 4th book in the Nevermore series, which is another book that another series, which is a series I really enjoy. It's another book that I've got in the last few months and would like to read soon. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is a historical vampire fiction. Calabasas is a dark academia paranormal book, and the Nevermore series is a middle grade fantasy series, which is a lot of fun. So those are the 3 books. Next question, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favourite book of the year? I think Calabasas is pretty high on the list of likely books to be a favourite book of the year, but I don't think that would shock me or anyone else for that matter, because it's very highly anticipated. I love Babel. Very much enjoyed the Yellow Face, but absolutely love Babel, and I think this being dark academia, I think it's going to be vaguely similar. I mean, similar in style, I guess, to Babel, so would not be surprised if this is a favourite of the year. So that, I guess, isn't really an answer to the question because it wouldn't shock me. A book that might shock me and become a favourite. What's on my TBR for this month? Let me think. Wouldn't shock me, but it would surprise me a little, and that is Dragon Fruit by Micaiah Lucia. It would surprise me because I haven't heard the best things about it, but I wouldn't be shocked because I do really enjoy a myth retelling. So yeah, that's sort of an answer to the question. I'm just trying to think of what would shock me. Like I said, what is on the TBR for this month? The Wedding People. That, I think, is a romance / contemporary. It would probably, again, I don't know if it would shock me. It would be quite a surprise, though. I guess it would shock me if that became a favourite of the year, although I never go into a book thinking I hate it, but that's not the kind of book that I necessarily pick as a favourite, so that would be a bit of a surprise. So we'll go with that. Okay. The final question, have you already started making reading plans for 2026? Yes, I have. Usually the answer is not really, but yes, I have actually. So the first one is that I am currently doing a series where I read books inspired by a booktuber and talk about those, vlog series. I will link the playlist for that down below, so please go and have a look at that if you were interested. And I'm working on a couple of vlogs for that right now, and I'm hoping to continue doing that. I really enjoy the series. Another series is that, well, I'm not sure when this will go up as against some of the other videos I've filmed recently, but it's either going to start coming up or you will have already seen the first one, but a series of favourites, top 10 favourites in particular genres. So that is something I'm hoping to continue next year. But a series I'd like to start next year, or a vlog project I'd like to do next year, and this is where I need your help. I would like to vlog reading a series for you guys. So what I need help with is I have a few different series that I'd like to potentially do, or I have a few series that I'd like to, that are on the list of possible series. Let me start again. I would like to do a vlog or a series of vlogs in 2026 or potentially further on, where I pick a series or a few series and vlog reading those series. And I've got a few series in mind to potentially do that with. I need your help choosing either what series to do in general or a few different series, or what series to start with, because some of those are longer than others. So the series on the list, first of all, the first one that I actually really, really want to reread, but it would be a reread, so we already know that I like it. So I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing my thoughts around, but that is the Realm of the Elderling series. This is one of my favourite series of all time. It's my favourite fantasy series of all time. Spoiler alert. And yeah, I really would like to, I read them well before I started my YouTube channel, so I'd really like to read them and vlog them and vlog me reading them so you guys can see my thoughts, but it's a reread. So is that as interesting as me reading something for the first time? That is the question. So anyway, that's the first choice. The second choice is the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson, so Way of Kings and so on. So the Realm of the Elderlings, I would probably split them up into a series of vlogs because they're in trilogies except for the Rain Wilds, so that would naturally make sense. Then if I did the Stormlight Archives, how would I go about doing that? Would I do the whole series as a vlog? Would I break it into half, etc.? What do you think? The other potential options are the Bobby War trilogy by R.F. Kuang, the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. So there are 3 long series which I would break up. Well, the first one, Realm of the Elderlings, is an obvious how I'd break up. The Stormlight Archives, let me know, what do you think? Should I break it up into 3s again? Would that be easiest? Should I just, because I have the books that are separated into parts, so should I just do each book? Should I do half, etc.? Or the Wheel of Time series, which I think is 15 books long, so that would probably end up being trilogies as well. So should I do that, vlogs in trilogies? And then the others, trilogies in and of themselves, so that would make sense for them to be just their own blog. So they are First Law, oh there's only 2, sorry, the First Law trilogy or the Poppy War trilogy, no there is 3, or the Greenbone Saga. Potentially, if people like this series and I want to do it, I could do more than one. I could do more than one next year. I could start them now and do a trilogy certainly, or start doing the others this year. If you're not interested at all, that's totally fine. Feel free to tell me that as well. But if you're interested, let me know which one you're most interested in. And if that's one of the longer series, let me know how I should break it up. So again, like I said, should I read The Realm of the Elvelings by Robin Hobb, The Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson, The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson, The Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang, The First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, or The Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee? Let me know in the comments below what you would like me to do. And that is the end of the questions, so that's the end of the tag. So therefore, let me know any other thoughts you have in the comments below. Yeah, and if you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me the question mark emoji because I have some questions for you. But anyway, that's it from me today. That's the entirety of the tag. Like I said, if you are interested in doing the tag, then please do so. You can say I tagged you, but feel free not to also. And yeah, that's everything that I'd like to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time.